This is one of the only live tests you will need to do. Please follow my instructions and you will be safe. Most of the tests that we're going to do after that will be done with the dryer disconnected from the wall outlet. If you set the dryer timer in different cycles, press the push to start button and the dryer won't start. Make sure that the door is closed and that the dryer is connected to the wall outlet. If the dryer still won't start, we need to check the voltage of the terminal block. For that you will need a voltmeter, and you need to set it higher than the volts you're going to check. Use alligator clips like these ones on the voltmeter test leads. This way you don't have to touch the dryer during this test and avoid any electrical shock. Have the dryer disconnected from the wall outlet. Remove the terminal block cover plate. Connect your voltmeter test lead between terminals L1 and L2. Have the dryer connected to the wall outlet. The reading between L1 and L2 should be about 240 volts. Have the dryer disconnected from the wall outlet. Connect your voltmeter test lead between terminals L2 and N. Have the dryer connected to the wall outlet. The reading between L2 and N should be about 120 volts. Have the dryer disconnected from the wall outlet. Connect your voltmeter test lead between terminals L1 and N. Have the dryer connected to the wall outlet. The reading between L1 and N should be about 120 volts. Have the dryer disconnected from the wall outlet. If you don't get these readings, check for a blown fuse or a trip circuit breaker. If your problem is bigger than this, get a licensed electrician to take care of it. Also check for loose connections at the terminal block. And check for burnt or broken wires too. Check the cord plug. Make sure that the terminals are nice and clean and you don't see any burnt marks on them. That was the safest way to check for voltage at the terminal block. Disconnect the dryer from the wall outlet and keep it disconnected. Let me show you how to check and replace the door switch. Open the dryer door and keep it open. This is the location of the door switch. You will need to press on these tabs to remove the switch. Use a butter knife to press on the tab, pull it out and hold it with your finger, then do it on the other side and take the switch out. Disconnect the wires and remove the switch. Connect your ohm meter test lead to the two terminals on the switch and press the button down. The reading should be 0 ohms. When you let go of the button, the reading should be infinity. If when you press the button, the reading is infinity, the switch is bad and you will need to replace it. To install a new switch or the original one, just connect the wires. It doesn't matter which wire goes where, because you only have 2 wires. Make sure the connection is good. Set it on the hole, push on it until it snaps in place. And that was the way that you check and replace the door switch. Disconnect the dryer from the wall outlet and keep it disconnected. Unscrew the front panel holding screws. Grab the front panel, lift it to unhook the holding clips, and lean it against the dryer like this. Before removing any wires, mark the sequence and the color of the wires. Y for yellow, G for gray, and B for blue. Now you can remove the yellow wire, the gray wire, and the blue wire. With the dryer door closed, take a reading with your ohms meter between the terminal of the yellow wire and the terminal of the blue wire. The reading should be 0 ohms. If the reading is infinity, the door switch is bad and you will need to replace it. You will need to press these 2 tabs on the switch to remove it. Open the dryer door, press on the switch tabs, and remove the switch. Set the new switch on the square hole and push it in until it snaps on. And close the dryer door. Now connect the wires in the order they go: the blue, the gray, and the yellow. Install the front panel by hooking the clips to the top panel, then lower it down and install the holding screws. That was the way to check or replace the door switch in the older style dryers. Let me show you how to check and replace the push to start button. Disconnect the dryer from the wall outlet and keep it disconnected. To gain access to the push to start switch, you will need to remove these screws, then remove the controls back panel. This is the push to start switch. Remove the yellow wire. Set your multimeter to check ohms. Connect one of the test probes to the terminal with the red wire. Connect the other test probe to the terminal you just removed the yellow wire from. Push and hold the push to start button. The reading should be 0 ohms. When you let go of the push to start switch, the reading should be infinity. If you push on the push to start switch and hold it, and the reading is infinity, the switch is bad and you will need to replace it. To replace a bad switch, remove the 2 wires. You will need to compress these tabs to remove or install the switch. Insert the screwdriver here and twist it to compress the tab and remove the bad switch. To install the new switch, hook the tab on the left. Use a flat screwdriver to press on the right tab until it snaps in place. Connect the wires to the switch. It doesn't matter which way you put them. Set the controls back panel in place, screw in the holding screws, and you're done replacing the push to start switch. That was a way to check and replace the push to start switch. Let me show you how to test the motor with a test cord without having to remove the motor from the dryer. Disconnect the dryer from the wall outlet and keep it disconnected. You need to make a test cord like this one. You need a heavy-duty extension cord and some quick disconnect terminals. The quick disconnect terminals part number is 643133 and you can get them at Radio Shack. Cut this end of the extension cord. Cut a piece about 14 inches long and strip it into 2 wires. Strip the insulation from the 2 ends and the middle on both wires. Strip the 2 ends of the extension cord and solder the 2 wires to it, and use electrical tape to insulate them. Crimp 1 female terminal and 1 male terminal to each one of the legs, like this. This is the way that the test cord should look like. According to the wiring schematic, we should be able to intercept the motor wiring at one of the thermal fuses and at the door switch. The wire we need to remove from the thermal fuse has a 51 number on it. Remove the front panel. Remove the door switch and remove the yellow wire from the door switch. Connect one of the male terminals from your test probe to the yellow wire from the switch. Remove the wire with the number 51 on it from the thermal fuse. Use electrical tape to insulate the wire, like this. Connect the other male terminal to the wire with the number 51 on it, like this. This is the way that the installation should look. One leg is connected to the yellow wire on the door switch, and the other leg is connected to the wire with the number 51 from the thermal fuse. This is the way that the installation should look like. One leg is connected to the yellow wire from the door switch, and the other leg is connected to the wire with the number 51 from the thermal fuse. Connect the test cord to the wall outlet. We need to use the push-to-start switch, so the switch has to be working okay. If when you push the start switch the dryer starts running, then you know that the motor is okay. If the dryer won't start or make a humming sound when you press the push-to-start switch, and you know that the push-to-start switch is good, then you have a bad motor and you need to replace it. Connect the wires back to the thermal fuse and to the door switch, and install the front panel. With the front panel and drum already removed, let me show you how to replace the motor. Remove the blower wheel cover screws and remove the blower cover. Let the cover hang by the thermostat wires like this. With a needle nose pliers, remove the compression clamp. Remove the snap ring with a snap ring pliers. Grab the blower and pull it right out. Remove the other snap ring from the motor shaft. Remove the 4 screws holding the blower housing and take the blower housing right out. Let me show you how to remove the 2 motor clamps. Place a flat screwdriver on the clamp ear like this, push down, pry it, and take it right out. To install the clamp, set it in place. Place the screwdriver on the clamp ear like this and hit it down until it snaps in place. Disconnect the ground wire from the motor bracket. Disconnect the motor wire harness by squeezing these 2 tabs on the connecting block and then pulling straight out. Remove the rear motor clamp like this. Then remove the front one. Grab the bad motor and take it right out. Set the new motor in place and install the 2 holding clamps. Connect the motor wire harness to the motor. Make sure you push it all the way in and connect the ground wire to the motor bracket. Set the blower housing in place and screw in the holding screws. Install the first snap ring on the motor shaft. Install the blower wheel. Install the second snap ring on the motor shaft. Then install the compression clamp on the blower. Install the blower cover and screw in the holding screws. Now all you have to do is install the drum, the front panel and the top panel, and you're done replacing the motor. Let me show you how to test the timer when the dryer won't start. Disconnect the dryer from the wall outlet and keep it disconnected. Remove the timer knob and the 2 holding screws. Put the timer knob back on the timer without the screws and set it on the cycle you want to check. Remove the knob again and set the timer in a position that is easy for you to do the test. Remove the green ground wire. Using a flat screwdriver, remove the gray wire. Take a reading with your ohms meter test leads between the terminal of the gray wire and the terminal with the yellow wire on it. The reading should be 0 ohms. If the reading is infinity, the timer is bad and you will need to replace it. Remove the controls back panel. Pull out the timer knob, remove the holding screws, and take out the timer. Make sure you leave the wires attached to it. Install the new timer and the holding screws. Make sure you have it the right way. Install the timer knob. Turn it around clockwise only to make sure that the timer turns okay. Use a flat screwdriver to remove the wires from the timer like this. Transfer the wires from the bad timer to the new timer one by one. This way you'll put them in the right place. Install the controls back panel. That was how you check and replace the timer.